guys, it's Dana and it's time to talk about money. And in this video, I'm going to talk about my $1 investing challenge. So let's get to it. Okay, so recently the stock market dropped and then it had one of the best days ever. And so I know that most of you who watch my channel are actively trying to get out of debt and to build your fully funded emergency funds. And so maybe investing is not top of mind. However, I'm hoping that most of you are at least participating in your employer match if you have one for your retirement. But if not, that's okay. I know the focus is on getting out of debt. However, eventually, the hope is and the plan is that you'll be out of debt, that you'll have your fully funded emergency fund, and you'll be ready to invest and to build wealth so that you have money to save and give and spend as you want and have more options and freedom for your future and to leave a legacy for your family, right? So that's the goal. But how I do think that a lot of people can be intimidated by investing. And right now, the point of entry is so low. There are so many great apps out there that you can do, which are easy to download, easy to use, have zero fees. And so what I want to try to encourage everyone to do is to download one of those apps. And I'm going to go over the options of what you can download, because we don't learn by watching, well, we learn by watching YouTube videos, but mostly by doing, right? So you have to actually do it yourself in order to really fully understand. And so I think that especially when you're getting out of debt, instead of purchasing a lottery ticket, like a lot of people are looking for hope and they're feeling, exhausted from getting out of debt. And so this exercise is a way to feel like you are involved in the market in some way and you are learning, and then you can sort of like follow along with what's happening so that when you're ready to invest real money, you'll be better situated where you actually understand what you're doing. And but you have to actually be doing it in order to learn, like I said. And so we're going to do this challenge together. And like I said, instead of purchasing a lottery ticket, why not just put $1 a week into the stock market, right? So that way you can track it, follow it. If it goes to zero, no big deal. If it takes off, then great, right? So it's just going to be fun. So I'm going to lay out the rules and also which apps you can go ahead and download to do this. However, I want to say, of course, these are not stocks that we're going to be purchasing in this challenge that I would recommend for wealth building. Okay, this is for fun and for learning purposes, right? So I want to make sure that that's clear. And also, I'm not a financial advisor. So obviously everybody knows that. You do your own research and what you're investing in. Okay, so the apps to use. You can use, there's many out there, and you can obviously invest in whatever platform you want. However, I do personally, I use Robinhood. Not affiliated with them. I'm not getting any kind of kickback, but I like Robinhood. So Robinhood, I think, is the easiest to use, the simplest to navigate, and there are zero fees for the purposes of what we're doing. So if you're getting into options or margin or those kind of things, there's fees. But if you are just going to be purchasing stocks like we're going to be doing, then there are zero fees. It's the easiest, okay? And there's no minimum. You can invest just $1 on the app, just $1. And that's it. And so there's no minimums. So it's a great one. Okay, also there is Webull that also has $0 trades, and there's more charts on Webull. So if you want to use that, or you can use E-Trade. E-Trade is a little bit more traditional, and that does also still have $0 commissions though. So you can use E-Trade. And obviously there's others like Fidelity, but I'm going to use Robinhood. Okay, that's what I'm going to use, and I'll share with you guys those screenshots from that app. Okay, so then the rules of what we're investing in, like I said, no one's retiring off of $1 per week into any of these stocks that we're going to be sort of purchasing or, for purposes of this challenge, right? We're just doing this for educational reasons, to learn, and also because recently when the stock market did drop and people were panic selling, a lot of times that's when you lose your money. That's when you lose money, when you see the stock market dropping and then you're like, oh my gosh, the stock market's going down, I better sell. And then what happens almost inevitably in these situations is it's V-shaped and the stock market goes right back up again to even higher levels that it was before. So if you had just let your money sit there and ride out, then it would have come back up, which is what we're going to do in this challenge. We're going to leave the money there. Okay, $52 for the year. That's it. That's the total amount of money we're putting in here. while you were all getting out of debt and doing stuff, and we're just going to see what happens. We're not going to sell. We're just going to let it sit there. If it goes down to zero, it's no big deal. We're learning, right? Okay, we're just learning in this process. Okay, so for this challenge, I'm focusing on lower priced stocks. Okay, so usually around $1. So sometimes this will help us to buy full shares. So if one share of a certain stock is 98 cents, then we can buy one share for that week of that for 98 cents, and that fits within the rules. If it's $1.20, same thing. Maybe you want to spend $1.20 that week to get one share. You can also purchase fractional shares, but for this challenge, I'm going to try to avoid that. So fractional shares means that if one share of a stock is $200 and you have $1, you could buy a piece, just a tiny little portion of a share that's a fractional share. And so these apps, Robinhood, will allow you to do that. Not all stocks allow you to do that, and it'll indicate to you that you can only purchase in full shares. But usually you can buy fractional shares, which means just a tiny piece. But we're going to try to steer away from those and just focus on ones that are fun, just have, something interesting about them, and just sort of, purchase this $1-ish, share and see, what happens over the 52 weeks. So we're just trying to learn the system without risking any kind of real money. That's the whole plan. So a lot of these lower price stocks that we're going to be purchasing, they are smaller companies or companies that are still figuring things out, which is why the price is so low. So yes, of course, there's a high likelihood that they're going to go down, but there's a chance that they could go up. Recently in the market, Allbirds, which is a footwear company, they said that they were going to be pivoting from footwear to AI, and their stock shot way up, like 400%, and they were like $2 a share, and it went all the way up to like $19 a share or some such, which was a crazy event. And it's very likely that's going to drop back down. But I'm just saying, sometimes you purchase these stocks and they might have some kind of news come out about the company, and then who knows, it'll go up. It's like playing the lottery. And yes, some of you might be like, this is kind of like gambling, Dana, but we're not gambling. We're trying to learn how the market works here, because we understand this is just for fun, like I said, and we're just doing $1 a week. Okay, so I'm going to post in the community tab on YouTube which ones I'm purchasing each week, and so you can follow along with me, or please recommend what you think we should all be investing in. Like, what did you find some kind of new company that's kind of interesting and you think maybe has a chance of going somewhere within the next year? Please share that and we can all invest in that together. So this will kind of be a collaborative thing, and I would love it if you did it with me. It'd be fun. And like I said, first step is to download an app if you don't have one already, where you can go ahead and purchase your $1 per week for a year. We're going to start it out with OPTT, Ocean Power Technologies. Okay, that's the first dollar that I'm going to be doing. All right. So what they do is they build machines that sit in the ocean, and they use wave motion to create power and collect data. Now, I don't know the specific price of what this stock is going to be by the time you watch this video, but if it's 38 cents, which is about where it's sitting right now, then you can buy 2 shares, okay? Or, 3 shares, depending on how much you want to put in. So that's the first stock. You can buy 3 shares, or just buy $1 and do fractional shares. Just do the $1 and that's it. However many shares that is, it's your choice. But like I said, keep it around $1, and that's going to be the first one that I'm going to invest in, and we'll see where it goes in the next 52 weeks. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you'll join me. And like I said, I'll post it in the community tab of my YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe and follow along and click the little notification bell so you can see those posts when I put them up. Okay? Talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.